Hey there, I'm Choi, and today I'm going to discuss some conventional ways or known ways of the benefits of an auction, and perhaps one or two, perhaps even more other reasons that you might not have thought of why auction could be a better way to sell. So I split it up into two categories, and some of them are joint or intertwined. Benefits for the vendor and benefits for the agency. Firstly, not wasting VPA, I should say, not wasting vendor paid advertising. And what I mean by that, with an auction, you can advertise it in a certain way in terms of pricing that doesn't scare the market away. So you're not wasting vendors paid advertising on the wrong price. Secondly, buyers see the competition as real. So when a private sale, buyers don't see the competition as real, and they think sometimes that we say that there's another buyer, and that it's not the case, even though it is. They don't 100% believe it. But in this case, they know the competition is real. Emotional, not a logical result. This is really important, and that's why I bracket here next video. So keep an eye out for that. Emotional versus logical result. I've broken that down in the next video. Statistics show that with an auction you get less days on market. Now some vendors might not be urgent matter to sell, but most people want to sell in a reasonable amount of time. So less days on market. Focus becomes on the house, the actual product, and not the price, okay? Because of the way that you can price an auction campaign and the way that you can market it, the focus then goes on to the house and not the price, whereas in private sales, usually the other way around. They see the price and then they see the house. Unconditional, no calling off, we all know that. You control your terms and your settlements, so the deposits and settlement dates. There's no cap on price, there's no ceiling on price. We've sold a property more than $1 million over reserve. So if we did a private sale, we obviously would not have got that result. So there's no cap on price. Anything's possible. Market value, you can test the market. So for some of those harder to price houses, an auction is always a good way, because you don't want to price it too low and undersell, and you don't want to price it too high, scare the market, waste VPA. Also gives the owner a chance to test the market. They can look at all these comparable sales but still be unsure what the house is worth. This allows it to be all on the floor and they can see what the house is worth. Certainty based on agencies' clearance rates. You can give vendors some certainty or a little bit more confirmation on how soon they can sell. So for example, our agencies are roughly on about 75% clearance rate for the calendar year. So we can tell our clients within 30 days they've got a 75% chance of selling. Based on our history. So that just gives a little bit of certainty. People like certainty. Some agencies, especially if they're not auction-dominated agencies, they only do a few auctions, they actually highlight or put more importance on auction stock. So if you list with that particular agency and you're an auction campaign, the advantage is you generally get a little bit more free advertising or a little bit more service, or there's just a little bit more of a highlight. Okay? Hopefully they know what they're doing though. It has all the benefits of a private sale. Auction has all the benefits of a traditional private sale, plus a few more extras, a few more goodies, which I've explained. You push the buyers to act, and especially in a buyer's market, you've got a deadline-driven thing, there's a date there, pushes the buyers to act. Okay, so they're the advantages, some of the advantages for the vendor. Advantages for the agency that I haven't already covered here, because some of these do cover for the agency. Owners are more open to sell because they see the market. We all know that our vendors are more open-minded when they can see the marketplace. Rather than us just talking, they can see it for real, okay? It's tangible. So statistics show that you have lower days on market, so dollar productive, and that's what we're all about, being dollar productive. Quick negotiations, and what I mean by that is, with a private sale, negotiations could take days. Whereas in an auction takes 15 minutes to do, so the negotiation's done in 15 minutes. Or if you pass the property in, the negotiation's done quickly, because the moment the buyer stops negotiating after you pass it into them, it's open sale that you negotiate with the whole marketplace. So it pushes them to act more quicker. Okay, so more dollar productive once again. Data collection, especially for the auction day, the open for inspection just before the auction, you will get neighbours that don't normally come out. Okay? This is a major advantage to the agency. Major advantage, okay? So great for data collection. More neighbours come to the house. just while I'm thinking of the neighbours, it's also, if we're talking about being dollar productive, it's a listing presentation to 4 or 5 prospective vendors that are in the crowd in 15 minutes. So it's a lot more dollar productive, especially if it's a good auction. You've just done a listing presentation to 15 clients, then they prospective clients, then they call you and say, hey, ready to rock and roll, as opposed to having to see each one of them and do your spiel. They get to see you for real. So once again, a lot more dollar productive, a listing presentation to a crowd. It's transparent, which is important. It gives consumer confidence, which is good for your branding and longevity. Kicker, yes, there's kickers in private sales, but I think kickers work a lot better in an auction, especially because there's no ceiling. So there's definitely a lot more mullah or coin to be made when you do a commission structure based on a kicker with an auction. Fun. That's probably the main reason why I do auction, a major reason. I just love it. There are a lot more, I find I have a lot of fun with it. It breaks up the week, there's variety. We need variety. Structure. It gives the team some structure because week 1 you do this, week 2 you do this, week 3 and 4, and there's the set processes. Yes, there's set processes for private sales, but I think it's a little bit more detailed, a little bit more formalized with an auction campaign, with a 4-week auction campaign. So structure. There's no waiting. You're not waiting for conditions to be fulfilled or cooling off to finish or anything like that. The moment you sell it is the moment you know you can pull out the cap and go, yeah, I made some good coin. So they're the advantages that I could think of for the vendor, for the agency combined, why auctions are a preferred method of sale, especially in my agency anyway. I'm Michael Choi. If you do have any questions, I'd like to hear from you. 0431 063 855. Michael Choi, 0431 063 855. Cheers.